Yep.
All right, you may start.
Okay, Charles Hastings, member.
Rebecca Hastings, member.
Jenny Lucas, member.
Garrett Levy, chair.
Paul Ricotta, alternate. John Racine, member.
Oh, you're a member because,
I'm with the planning board.
right,
Ex
ex officio?
Yeah,
Okay. All right,
I should say ex officio instead of member.
all right. I don't know if it matters
Well, for
for the purpose of,
reporting.
okay, well, thank you. And so Cindy and Patrick are absent.
We need to
See
see
Paul?
Paul. as-
Yes,
As, yeah,
so Paul, right now you are alternate?
Yes.
Okay, so
You're gonna see,
we will seat you as a member for today.
yes.
Do we need everyone's?
No,
No.
you're the chair.
I have the power.
You
Yeah,
do.
You have great power.
Okay, you are it. Thank you, Paul.
You, Paul.
All right. Let's first look at the minutes of September 18th. If you already did so, are there any questions, edits, comments?
They were very detailed,
Yes.
extensive, and I could not find any errors.
Wow.
quite informative. Thank you, Jim.
Wow.
You
That's
couldn't slip something in?
Just
I'll
to
have to
say,
do that.
make
See if you
sure
catches
he's
it.
paying
She did slip
attention.
something in that I did not do something I said I would, and I hated to see that, but it's in the minutes. and
Oh.
It's correct.
Hmm.
I move to approve the minutes.
Have a
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Again, Jenny. And before we start discussing old business, I'd like a recommendation to replace Jenny. We don't have a date for your leaving, but it should be in a few months.
Yeah.
I thought she said she was gonna extend it.
For us.
Probably not.
I thought you said she's irreplaceable.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
is, that,
yeah.
there's no doubt about that.
Maybe we can entice her to Zoom in and.
Wow, right?
You have Wi-Fi in Maine? Okay. We were thinking of you, Paul.
Oh, well, I'd be honored.
Oh. All right. Do we need a vote on that or just a recommendation? And
I
then,
think it's good to have, if Paul becomes a full member permanently, then he's no longer an alternate, and I think it's good to have alternates.
Yes, we
I
need-
think one,
yeah.
do we have one?
Patrick,
Is Patrick is he an
Yeah.
alternate?
I
Yeah.
think.
Yes.
But it'd be nice to have another one, so we should
Yes.
be on the lookout
yes,
There's
for
somebody.
qualified and eager
yes,
folks who would like to partake.
yes. Isn't there a line up in the office for? No, huh? Not today.
With the degree that Kelly Cannon has, she might be,
Yeah,
if we
yeah.
can persuade her.
Yeah.
Did she serve before? Or no,
She,
am I getting confused?
She was
In the
on
bunch.
some,
she was on the
She was on-
renewable. sometimes
Oh,
she-
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
But she was
Yeah.
on something.
but I don't think she
else.
was on
I don't
conservation.
think so, but
That's
Yeah,
good.
she may have visited us once.
we'll be seeing her on
Thursday.
Thursday. We could
Yeah,
we could
approach
ask
the
her.
subject.
You could ask
Put a
her.
bug in her. ear.
Yeah,
All
right. Let's be on the lookout for an alternate.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
we need to send the recommendation to the select board, I believe.
I would suggest you do that, yes. And then once that's done, we would, as a board, we would vote him in, just in case someone
Right.
had questions.
Okay,
But not
And
until,
then you have to
Jenny
be
leaves.
sworn in, don't you?
Yes.
Doesn't that happen?
right.
Yeah.
So first
okay.
the select board and then, right? That's what I
So
understand.
I will bring that to the select board.
Mhm.
Would you be okay
Okay.
with that?
Sure,
but do we want to initiate that before Jenny leaves town?
we have a few,
Can,
yeah.
is there space for another member right now? I can look
think-
into that before we.
Yeah,
I think
we're-
they're it.
Well, I don't
The-
know.
think they had-
Well, there should be an odd number of members. So
It's
I forget who's,
Cindy.
Cindy, Charles, me, Jenny.
Patrick.
Patrick.
yeah, we need another we already need another
Five. I think
I think
alternate.
it's 5 now.
And we
Yeah.
have Patrick as an alternate, right?
He's, right.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the terms of office here too, so we can,
Jenny, you've got probably another couple months at least.
Yeah, yeah.
Patrick's listed as an alternate, I'm looking at the website right now.
oh, thank you, yeah.
And,
he's
there
an
is,
alternate.
Cindy's listed as an alternate as well.
Oh,
The members are yourself, Irit, Jenny, yourself as vice chair and secretary, Rebecca as member, Charles as member. And we had Paul as member,
Must be Cindy and I are.
and then
reversed.
Cindy as
Yeah.
alternate, Patrick as alternate, and John as ex officio.
Okay.
But there is currently on the listing a vacancy for one person at this time anyway.
Okay,
so if Paul becomes a
So-
member, we have an odd number,
Which is good.
which is good. Mhm,
So we could move Paul in
mhm.
as soon as the process allows.
even if we have
sounds-
even if
Sharon
we
said
have
he's
an even
already
number,
listed as a member.
Yeah, I already had it listed. as a-
Okay, you are a
So,
member.
Ah.
We don't need to send,
Are you sworn in?
Did you ever?
I
get-
was sworn in.
Oh,
well.
I thought it was alternate.
Ah.
I think Cindy is the
Oh,
member.
she's the alt.
And
Oh.
I don't, she was an alternate, I think, and then she
Yeah.
became a member.
Yeah,
If I recall correctly.
that's what I recall also.
but
Actually,
the
that-
website shows Cindy
Just
as an
as an
alternate.
It shows her as an
That might be in the
alternate.
minutes.
Maybe
With
it's
a
not,
term expiring in 26.
It would be,
Um,
hopefully.
But.
All right, I'll look into that.
so
yeah,
there's-
we need an
Yeah.
update. That might not be updated.
Yeah, use-
The minutes are more official than the
Okay.
website, I would think.
yeah, if I didn't get it, an update or if it was reversed.
Yeah.
then-
Okay, so we'll check on that.
so
Yeah.
we could, Madam Chair, we could ask the select board today, which we are going to that meeting,
Mhm,
about this situation.
mhm,
And also, if we have an even number of members,
mhm.
everyone but the chair would vote and you would be the last one to vote.
Mhm.
If it was an even number.
All right.
You would be the deciding vote
In any case, we are in need of another alternate.
person, yeah.
Okay.
So we could do
All right,
that.
let's look around. Okay, thank you for that. Oh, and then we can review the member terms. So this is what Mark
Oh,
asked me
right,
to
right,
do.
right, right.
I wrote down the years. So perhaps Sharon looked at the website and it wasn't updated, but I have the years that
And these are
her
6-year
terms
terms,
terminate.
6-year terms, like Senate.
I terminate next year.
Oh, no.
All right, so mine is 2025. Jenny, and now it will be, sorry,
What month, 2025?
They always go on March.
March,
March.
that's what I
March,
thought.
yeah.
Town meeting date.
Town meeting date, March.
So you have to be voted on
Mm,
this election.
Well, the select board does it. It's not.
They do
Yeah.
it. Oh.
Yeah.
okay.
And so Jenny's term was to end 2027, and so if Paul is taking
Steps into
your
that.
place, then your term will be 2027. That's how I understand it.
Right.
Okay,
So would it be an at-large fill, like a vacancy fill, or would it be a?
Well,
Are you
it's
asking-
vice chair, right? So would he be vice chair?
anytime you are willing to hand it over, because I don't know when you're moving.
Yeah, I
and-
can hand it over anytime, like, and you can be vice chair.
Yeah.
Or if that's something that gets decided, and I can still be secretary, like as an alternate, that's no problem.
All right, so
So you can make
Well,
that recommendation at
yeah.
today's meeting.
Okay, that's what I'm thinking, why not do
Yeah.
it now and
Yeah.
be done with it? Okay,
So right now, your tentative month is December, January?
No, like next June.
Oh,
So I'll be here for a little while. But I think it makes sense to have someone who
Yeah.
has, you know,
Yes,
a vested interest
start,
in the,
yes.
the town too.
could So you couldn't stay on as the alternate?
No,
or-
I will stay on as an alternate, yeah,
Oh, okay, got it, all
yeah,
right,
just switch.
okay,
Okay, we're just switching.
But the select board has to approve that, I would imagine.
yeah,
Okay,
I think they might need a letter from you
Mm-hmm.
resigning
Okay,
your position, I think. We're gonna find that out
Yeah,
today.
okay, let me know,
And let you know.
okay.
okay. Let's switch, okay, got that. All right, so back to terms. Becca and Charles, 2025.
No.
Paul, now will be 2027. Once we get the process going. Cindy, 2026. Patrick, 2027. The absent alternate, 2025.
Okay.
And John, I have no term ending for you.
You're still.
It says forever here.
Interminable.
As long as I'm a member
Yeah,
of the planning board,
yeah,
I can take the position of the ex officio.
okay,
That makes
If
sense.
I'm no longer a member,
right.
because that's how we got
Mm-hmm,
this to all work
uh-huh,
Right.
okay,
with Jenny and everything.
as long as you're a planning board member.
Yeah,
So,
if I drop to an alternate,
right,
they'll need a member to come here, but.
okay, but you might drop down to a member,
Yeah, I'm probably going to for sure.
okay. All right,
I don't see anyone come into the meeting,
perfect,
so
so,
it's okay with you. If you do happen to see somebody
Mhm.
on that monitor up there, if it's anyone that
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
You can.
Recognize.
come on over and just
Yeah.
let them in, or.
yeah, you have a hotline?
Just call the operator on that phone right
Oh,
there.
right there,
Wow,
cool,
that's good
I
to know.
think it is, yeah.
Cool.
right there,
Yeah.
Thanks.
Charles, you see that?
I do.
On the wall,
I do. I was looking at the, what I'm saying.
Oh.
I see it.
great,
Oh,
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Cindy is.
She's not, but, no.
Next item on the agenda,
Okay.
do you have any update, Paul, for the
Well,
steep slopes, or is it?
well, Charles and I did go to the planning planning board meeting,
Mhm.
and Charles was a little bit more active than I was there. He said a couple words, but overall, I don't think much really transpired in terms of that was substantive that would change anything of our initial understanding. Would you agree with that, Charles?
I would agree, and I think as we get to the
Yes.
item farther down the agenda
Yeah.
where we review all three of these.
Yeah,
We
there
can
might be something there.
discuss those, whatever points there were.
Right.
Okay. That sounds good. Yeah, that's the third one. Okay. And we won't have an update on the WWTF until after the meeting today at 3. Are you thinking of staying for that?
I will.
Yeah, I think we will
Paul
too.
says he's gonna stay. I'm gonna stay. I don't mean to speak for him, but
All right. So I think the only message we got from Mark last week at another meeting, at our energy meeting, was that whatever years you thought the construction would start,
Oh, no.
pushed again.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. So maybe
To the-
2027.
And is the
Instead.
EPA, have they clued them in yet, or we just kind of like keeping it secret?
Yeah.
This is good for our taxes.
Very good.
And you'll be out before.
Yeah. you
Oh.
want to-
Yeah. All right, so we don't have that
Okay.
update. Do we have an update on the public hearings that were held 2 or 3 times, actually, not 2, on the land acquisition? I think you attended one,
And I
We
attended.
were-
and you attended,
we
yeah, we
went
were
to
there,
both of
that's
them.
right,
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Charles was there.
So it hasn't been finalized yet because we're waiting for the purchase and sale.
Purchase, yeah.
But
Which
it
is
has been approved to
Yeah.
go forward by the select board?
Yes.
by the select
Okay.
board,
Yes, they said
Yeah.
yes,
It's official, sure.
Yes.
And the next step was to do the agreement. I thought that's what
with David,
Rich
yes.
said. Yeah,
And I think of interest to us as a commission is what the select board will decide
Mhm.
as to how
Mhm.
much,
Right.
hopefully at least some, if not all,
Mhm.
of this is it going to be rezoned as greenbelt? Is part of it going to be rezoned as greenbelt
Mhm.
and part of it remain recreational?
Mhm.
Is, as happened with the greenbelt along 49 and Snows Brook, is it going to be, and this confuses me, is title of this somehow transferred to our commission? Or does it remain town land and we just have some say over it? Because
Yeah.
we actually, as I understand it, the commission actually owns the green belt.
Cause that was a private type of thing, right? It wasn't,
Well, so is David Britton's land private.
no, I mean,
No.
town funds weren't, I mean, I know there's no funds being used, but it's.
Yeah.
Town
town
fund
owned
being-
that
Mhm.
property to begin with, right? They bought,
David Britton, or which one?
no,
No,
the
the
one,
1.8.
our
No, no.
existing.
No, the existing
Greenbelt.
green belt actually was acquired, as Mark told me, as part of a bigger deal.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, it was a $10,000 fee, but that was not specific or cost.
Mm.
That, and I'm confused, that was not specifically linked to that, whatever it is, those few acres.
Mhm.
So
It was
I
just part of a
think,
deal.
I think we need to have some clarification as,
Mhm.
are we acquiring that as a commission?
No.
So I could elaborate a
Okay,
bit.
good,
Mhm.
So the first step is to purchase the land.
right.
The second step is decide what to do with it. And that'll be the town's decision. And we are going to step in and request
Mhm.
what we would like to do. So
Yeah.
I think that land will probably be, some will be conservation land and some will be town land for maybe parking for some trail hiking or something like that.
Yeah.
But the first order of business was to purchase the land and then get all heads of departments in here and
Mhm.
decide what to do.
Mhm.
And then the town's gotta, I believe, vote on that.
Mhm.
if I'm
Any
not
rezoning, the
mistaken,
town would have to vote.
Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, rezoning,
to-
right.
I don't know, they'll wanna. I couldn't see them changing the rec. It being
Mhm.
zoned as rec, I couldn't see them changing that, but whatever we do,
Yeah.
it'll be the same thing we did with the Greenbelt property.
But that did
But-
get rezoned as greenbelt.
Yeah.
That's because we requested it.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I am gonna go out there on a limb and say, I'm gonna request that we rezone the whole thing.
I would
I
Green-
I
Yeah.
mean, everyone at this
Mhm.
point in time is saying, we have no plans to do anything there, that's it, we just wanna preserve it and.
Mm.
Anything that might come up down the road, we can address then, like,
Yep.
okay, you wanna put a parking lot in and that's not permitted in Greenbelt, well, maybe it's permitted under a special use permit, I don't know.
Mhm.
It could be that.
Mm.
But the town also doesn't have to follow its own zoning guidelines anyway, so they could do whatever they want, no matter what it's zoned,
Mhm.
so. That's gonna be my
Mhm.
yeah, I
I
would,
hear
but-
you, I hear you.
No, I think we'll probably all vote in that same
Yeah.
direction.
Because the
Really.
more the
and I think the
conservation.
town would, a lot of the town, and they would like to hear that.
Yeah.
There might be a few factions of chapel people and I don't know, other folks who might
Yeah.
wanna.
Pickleballers.
Yeah, who
Yeah.
might wanna, rattle
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
sabers a little
Yeah.
bit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
the
And I-
more, yeah.
And we would like to see, like Charles says, some of that be Greenbelt.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I don't know if we'll be able to do all of it, but at least a portion of it.
Yeah. One step at a
Greenbelt.
time.
Yeah.
yeah.
First, the
Yeah.
town signs the PNS, everyone signs the PNS.
Yeah.
And then we have to figure out the more the Conservation Commission not owns, rules. Has a say over this land, the more protected it is, and I think David Britton wants it protected.
I think so
So-
too.
But
Yeah.
also, the only voices of opposition that have come up in the public hearings were concerns whether or not there would ever be liability because of the former use of a landfill. And we continually it has been argued continually that as long as the town has it, and doesn't disturb it,
Disturb it.
that's never an issue. And so following that logic,
Mhm.
the more of that becomes greenbelt, which cannot be dug into and
Right.
disturbed, the
Right.
safer we are from any liability issues, which did seem to worry some
Yes.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that needs to be explained clearly.
Yeah,
To those in doubt.
yeah,
I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we just want to get that land purchased first.
yeah,
Absolutely.
all right. So we'll just follow along.
Yep.
All right, any other questions? Just number 4 is just a reminder to report to Steve Royer with any information you have on,
D, okay,
did we give him photos of our greenbelt signs yet? No.
that's what.
That's what was
Charlie-
pointed out in the
Oh,
minutes
that's
that I was supposed to
minutes that we
do,
forgot.
and I didn't know about it, or we forgot about it. Bill
just
Tucker
forgot
reminded
about
me.
it.
if you-
We
I
all
was-
need reminder. I didn't.
I was
get
going to do it
reminders of
today,
anyone.
but I was so
Yeah.
busy on the 3 zoning issues, I didn't have any time.
I believe it.
I do
But I,
believe that.
I
I
will,
believe it, yeah,
I will,
yes,
I assume by this, I mean,
yes.
I have a nice photo of the big sign,
Mhm.
and I have, I think photos of
We have
some of the little
some
signs.
Yeah.
little signs,
So
yeah.
just,
Yeah.
that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about?
Yeah, yes.
So I could send a JPEG
Yeah.
Mhm.
of
Well, it'd
those.
be fun to get more of
Yes.
those made for our new property.
Oh, whoa, oh, let's not skip ahead. Yes, it would be lovely. Yeah, I'm ready, I'm ready. Yeah. Okay. good.
Okay,
So that's just a reminder to keep posting information.
I need these reminders, thank you.
Yeah, well, we,
I haven't given my info to Steve either, so.
so we'll just keep on adding it to the future agendas until it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Any other items that
Okay.
we've forgotten about before we get into the review of the?
Was there
planning
anything
board
on
draft?
Snow's Brook or are we not?
no, that wasn't on the agenda.
Okay, good, because we don't have any progress on Snow's Brook. That's already
That's right.
in hold.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything from Rick,
Yeah.
nothing from Mark.
Oh, yeah.
So where do we stand with that? Mark is supposed to get a form from the Forest
He was
Service?
waiting for a form, I thought, from Rick
Mhm.
the last time.
Okay,
I think that was in your minutes.
so it sounds like
Somewhere I
Mark
read.
and Rick
Yeah.
need an email from me. Too much time passes and
Mm,
Yeah.
it fades
mm.
gently into the background. All right, forms from FS, right? Okay. There was one other comment. As we drove by Tecumseh Road, you've noticed Piper is progressing on that road by
Lambert's.
VRPS.
Oh, good.
Have you-
Okay. I haven't been by
You
there.
haven't been by.
lately.
Ooh.
Take a walk by. It's
Take a walk.
impressive.
Yeah,
Okay.
we saw them putting in the culverts,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah, a lot of,
So the culvert came in?
yes,
Okay.
oh, and
It
Many
came in
parts.
pieces. It was like
yeah,
10 or 12 pieces, that concrete pieces. And I'm talking huge
These are
pieces.
big.
Are they doing the box
they
like
did.
Rick
All done, yeah.
recommended?
They put
Yeah,
it in and now it's covered,
yeah.
so,
Wow, great.
so it
On
looks like,
both ends, it's
Yeah.
flanged.
Turtle
so that
friendly.
yeah,
Funnel in. And
Good.
the road is,
Nice.
the dirt is already over. it,
Yeah.
so There's a road going in.
yeah, you can see the potential for the final road.
Yeah.
Looks pretty good.
Nicely done.
So thank you for that, and let's talk about our drafts here. So
Yes.
we don't want to spend hours on every draft. She sent us,
We get kicked out at 3, so we can't.
Can't
All right.
spend hours.
That's our.
is that it?
Cutoff.
Yeah, it was
So-
up to 2 o'clock.
Yeah,
So
so
can we do them in the order that?
yes, the order that they came in, the first one
So
was shoreland,
shoreline,
shorelines,
floodplain,
yeah.
and slopes.
yeah. Okay. So, oh, yeah,
Thank you.
I'll let you do the voice.
right.
I have no comment
Since
on page
mine
1.
fails me
All right.
much of the time.
Hello,
Hello.
Do you wanna, while he's here, can we grab him about the update?
Which update now?
Uh,
Well, the update will be,
On the,
Oh,
on the Rick
No.
thing.
oh, we'll know this
Oh.
afternoon.
yes, Snowsbrook, okay. Have you heard from the Forest Service or Rick about the form that?
I have no.
Oh, boy, yeah.
Yeah, we have it to you now.
Well, it's November
Mhm.
and
Here, he's well aware of that.
it's, I know.
I know, we've been getting this treatment plant stuff done,
Yeah.
so I have not reached back out to them, but no, I have not gotten any emails.
Okay,
I thought that Rick had it under control and was
Mhm.
working with the Forest Service, so
maybe,
quite frankly, I have not put it high on my priority list because we had him working.
Yeah,
That's the last we knew about it as
That-
well.
Yeah, so
okay,
do you wanna email him and
Yes.
just say, where are we? Is there anything Mark
Where are
needs
we?
to do? Because if I've dropped the ball on something, we'll pick it up and move it forward again.
sure,
Sure.
okay,
I don't know.
I'll do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, with all this time passing.
Yeah, and we're
I
gonna take
can't-
a big step on the treatment plant project here
Sure,
today. So
sure,
Mhm.
been a long time coming, so,
so exciting
yeah, it is.
to be in the know. All right, so we just started working on the drafts from Tara and the planning board.
Oh, okay.
and we're starting with shorelines.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And
okay.
Beck and I had various sort of editorial comments, most of which really don't need to be dealt with because we only need to do corrections to the actual document that's to be added and not to Tara's comments.
Well,
So
Okay.
on page 2, there were various little things. I think we can skip over the
That's
extra
wrong, that's
the.
wrong. Go ahead.
We
Oh, you
could,
mean you think there's language in there that makes something incorrect?
no, there's just typos or editorial problems.
Oh, yeah,
Right,
we
we-
can give those straight to Tara.
Oh,
We don't
okay,
have to approve them.
I already emailed her about Snowsbrook and Corcoran's.
okay,
So
there's
there's,
also an extra,
no, she
the-
knows this, and
okay,
I don't know why it keeps coming up.
yeah,
So-
and so forth.
Maybe we should send those to her.
But I
then.
think what's important is
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
can see all this, the third paragraph, much of West Branch shoreline is protected by town ownership, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, yeah,
And this paragraph argues that it would be helpful if the town shoreline overlay zone would include West Branch. And I
Yes.
strongly feel that that's important.
I agree,
Okay, so that was something significant in
yes,
her commentary that
Mhm.
was implied that
yes,
the
overlay
planning
zone.
board should consider this strongly. And I
Mhm.
think we as a commission should voice that we also strongly feel that we need to extend protection beyond just the
Mhm.
main stem of Mad River
Yeah,
to at least to West Branch and probably also to Snows Brook.
right, so sounds like we're in favor of more protection with the overlay zone.
A town shoreline overlay zone would help ensure protection,
Mhm.
et cetera, et cetera. And
Yeah,
I
thank-
agreed strongly with that.
Mhm.
I had a question on the
Yeah.
page
Three?
3. I don't know if you're
Yeah, I'm
looking
there.
at these. It's, and I should have checked this myself. This concerns the Waterville Place.
Yes,
Okay,
Mhm.
and it says Waterville Place is already village commercial.
Mhm.
And is that why it's not subject to site plan review? It says
Yeah, if
one
they
or two
wanted to.
townhouse units would not be subject to site plan review in that property. Is that because village commercial units do not have to have site plan review?
Maybe
They
it's,
do. If
when they're
it's
multi.
for a commercial purpose.
What if it's for a townhouse?
If it's for a townhouse, residential development, well, if it's multi-unit, yes. it would have to go through site
Mm.
plan review.
Well,
If it was
this,
just a single
yeah,
residence or a single dwelling,
I think it's a
Mhm.
then you would
two-family,
not.
didn't
It would be just like
No, it-
every place else. in
it says
town.
Waterville
We-
Place lot is village
BC.
commercial
It
and
is,
may
right
have
here.
additional
Development.
development potential that could include single or two-family townhouses units that would not be subject to site plan review, and I was puzzled by that.
Yes.
That's what our zoning ordinance says. If it's single or two-family, you don't need to go through the site plan review,
Oh.
only if it's multifamily.
Yeah,
All the more reason to put this in our
Yeah.
overlay then,
Mm.
along
can
with
you do
West
that?
Branch.
Can you do an overlay over private land?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
That's the whole point of this. yeah.
Okay.
the areas that we're talking about are like the one on West Branch Road. We're really just talking about these parcels.
But there could be additional development in Waterville Place. There
And-
is space,
Well,
and that's
that-
Snows Brook.
so for the last 20 years, that's been a question.
Hmm.
There is an issue, and I'm not a legal expert, but there is an issue with this vacant land.
Mm.
Because they were supposed to build, I believe, 4 buildings when they built Waterville
Mm.
Place. They only built 2. My understanding is the time limit expired on these 2 buildings.
Mm.
And for some reason in the condominium laws of the state of New Hampshire, there can be no further development on that lot unless they take
All the better.
certain legal
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
actions.
Wow.
So there's,
Oh.
again, I'm not giving you a legal opinion. I'm only going by what I've been told a couple of different times, that nothing else can be built
Either.
here at all, period,
Mm.
end of
Wow.
conversation.
That's it.
Unless they went through all this. rigmarole
Unless,
of-
I'm
Yeah.
sure that they could go to the court and say, make some legal argument
Probably
and
be too
whatever,
expensive
but-
for them to
so-
build it.
that would be a very convoluted process that we would get a lot of notice on.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if they, as long as they don't build single-family homes or duplexes, they would have to go through site plan review,
It would.
so,
Okay.
for multipurpose.
All right. So no
I
wonder,
didn't see
no
that
wonder
come down
Tara
bunch of
is
trees.
confused once again.
Review.
So
Well-
what's the formal proper name? Is it Corcoran Pond?
It is Corcoran Pond. We call it Corcoran's Pond or Corcoran Pond.
So what,
I think the legal, if you
Legal,
look at
yeah.
the map for 911 or
Yeah.
whatever, it's, there are no apostrophe
Apostrophe,
S's.
no.
yeah,
So Snows Brook Road in the E911 system is SNOWS Brook
Right.
Road,
correct.
okay?
We know that.
And
We know signs are wrong.
yes,
And they're taking it from another mistake, so
Yes.
it continues.
yes, I.
So we would like Tara to stop
Well,
misspelling.
we don't have
it.
to worry about Tara after December.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But
I
it'll
mean,
be in
it'll
our,
be our
it'll
next,
be in our,
Yeah.
we will work with that.
Yeah.
as long as we know what's.
So that
Waterville
piece of
property.
land
Yeah.
was,
Waterville Place.
questioned, you and I were questioning that, because that's a big piece of land,
Yes.
Yeah.
which is 2 buildings, and
Yeah.
now we know the skinny on it.
Right, plus if they built, then there would be more sedimentation.
It's
So-
nice that they've left that the way it is, so.
But I would urge, since time is going to be short here,
Mhm.
and I have so many things to bring up,
Okay.
if we move on now to the
Yes,
page
Page.
4, which is the important part, draft shoreline protection language.
Okay,
Proposed new section to be added to Article 4. And I didn't catch this before. I didn't spend enough time on this, obviously, but are we going to somehow define the shoreline overlay to include, where does it define it as including more than the Mad River? Can we specify here that it's going to include Mad River,
West Branch and.
West Branch, and we have to be careful how we word Snows Brook,
mhm.
because that potentially includes Corcoran Pond, and that's going to be a big issue for us to discuss.
Oh.
but I don't see where it spells out which areas are included. Do you see it?
Somewhere in here, or maybe it's on the state, the state shoreline protection is a
I think she mentioned that.
order,
somewhere.
stream
Mhm.
order 4 or whatever,
It is.
which is Snows Brook.
No.
Oh, it's not.
No,
No,
Oh, the Shoreland Protection Act protections are only to the Mad River.
Oh, only to the
Snows
state
Brook
one.
is an order 3.
Oh, an order
stream.
3. Okay,
The Mad River is an order 4 stream.
okay.
And that has to do with number of tributaries that come
Right.
down in to form it.
So this, we could,
I
so
don't-
we could beef
Really,
it up.
and that's why I say, really, the only part here, and we have to talk about Corcoran Pond
Right.
because there are existing easements and there's some
Yeah.
back and forth between our town council and Tara about what these overlays would potentially do to the easements, and we still have to look at that. We don't have a definitive answer on that. So, and remember that all of Snows Brook to the west of Corcoran Pond is
So
all
already
within
greenbelt.
Greenbelt.
Mhm.
And so there's not,
Hmm.
at least under our current zoning,
Right.
there's no development that's going to happen on that.
Right.
Anyway, it can't,
Mm.
it's not allowed. So, I really think that to include that is kind of okay, if you want to, but it doesn't really limit anything that isn't already limited. It's gonna be those houses along the West Branch that are gonna be impacted the most.
I see, okay.
Oh, here it says in section 3 down below, I knew it cited in here somewhere. So this protection area would include within its boundaries all lands within 50 feet of the ordinary high water mark of all perennial streams as identified by the blah, 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 which would be Snows and
It would
Yeah.
include snows.
Where's
Right.
the?
the,
Aha.
Page 4.
Okay, got it. Good,
And
thank you.
So this
did-
just kind of
She
gives-
did a couple of maps.
Yeah.
that I don't know if they're on your copy of it
Mhm.
or not,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
it shows the parcels on West Branch and it
it's
shows.
kind of blurry when you
Yeah.
print it out, but yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the upper part of Cascade because of the lot that the resort owns in Snows Brook, and then the Mad River and West Branch.
And really, the Cascade Brook is in the national
Yeah.
forest, other than that hammerhead.
Right.
So nothing is gonna
Yeah.
happen there.
So I would propose that, in terms of our
Mhm.
commission policy on this, we go conceptually that we would like this shoreline overlay
Mhm.
to include Mad River, West Branch. And even though it may not be necessary, I think conceptually it's nice to include Snows Brook because that's a major waterway of those
Yeah.
three are major waterways. So I like the idea of including it, even though it's not necessary.
Me too.
And there's no harm in having protection from multiple different layers of zoning and category. So the hard part is going to be for us when we come to Corcoran Pond.
Mhm.
So,
So if I may, I would like to bring some of our
Mhm.
findings to
Yeah.
the planning board.
Right.
But if we could write just this discussion on these issues, so when I go to the planning board,
Mhm.
it would be clear, we can number it 1, 2, 3, so I
Right.
can. This is the
Right.
recommendation of the Conservation Commission.
Do
Would
you want
that-
me to write up a draft of a couple things?
I would
Yeah,
love
Okay.
that. But-
so.
And I'd include the Cascades.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's mentioned somewhere.
Mhm.
So that way it would be clear, but I'm
Mhm.
letting them know what
Right.
we're.
Where was,
I also just want to ask, I mean, I am all for, more production, but the better. But in our inventory that Rick did for us,
Mhm.
his recommendation is for a 25-foot buffer. And I don't know if he did that because he thought it was maybe would be more palatable to, pass the
Mhm.
town's muster, or if he had an actual reason for that, but. I mean, I'm all 450, but I just wanted
Yeah,
to, I just wanted
yeah.
to let you know that that's what Rick has in our, as a recommendation in our, I think he says a minimum of 25, so. I think bare minimum of 25 is great, but 50 would be
Right.
amazing, yeah,
Right.
I think it needs to be 50.
okay,
I do too.
I just wanted to.
And to be clear. I
Just, okay.
Yeah.
know, to be clear, today we use the word shoreline and shoreland. So I think sometimes people are confused, especially when we have the camera going, what shoreline means and what shoreland
In
means.
her write-up,
She
this
defined it.
is the Shoreland Protection Act is a state law. And it's, so there is a 250-foot buffer that is already protected along the Mad River. Okay,
And
so
that's shoreland.
that's the Shoreland
Okay,
Protection Act.
okay,
The shoreline is what she's proposing, the naming of it for the town that we're putting over the Shoreland Protection Act.
No.
Land. Yeah. Just one thought on the 50-foot. If you get pushback on it, consider taking 25 feet first and then trying to get an amendment. If the 25 passes and you review it for a year, you know, you can work with property owners that are affected, answer their questions, and then potentially go back with an amendment of simply changing the 25 to 50. Just a suggestion, because, you know, and kind of Tara's kind of doing that as well, because she wanted to initially put in 100. And, you know, for the very small areas that we're talking about,
There's
you know,
no-
100 is
there's no
kind of
land.
overkill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But again, 50 feet is pretty substantial when you start looking at these zones and putting them on a map. So just a suggestion that you keep that in maybe your back pocket, see what the public comment is on it. And if there's no pushback to the 50 feet, go for it.
Cause there'll be a public hearing before zoning,
There will.
yeah, okay.
Okay. Are we moving on to page 5?
I see no,
Hold on.
Okay, things that are permitted within our sh- shoreline, no.
Shoreland,
Shoreline.
Draft
Oh,
shoreline
permitted.
protection.
it's page 5, number 5.
Yeah, under permitted,
Yeah.
within that 50-foot stretch,
Mhm.
okay. Item B. Normal trimming, pruning, and thinning of branches to the extent necessary is permitted to maintain the health of the planted area, as well as to protect structures, maintain clearances, and provide views is permitted, provided such activity is not endanger the health of the plant.
Mhm.
Personally, I would like to delete the part that says provide views as a reason for trimming, pruning, and thinning of branches within that 50-foot section. I assume this means that if someone has a house maybe just outside of that limit and they want a nice view of something, that they would be authorized by this
Yeah.
to do cutting to improve their view. This is just my personal thing. I don't like that as a justification. But I don't know how other people feel about it.
Well, I think we can, put that on the list of things to bring to the planning board,
mhm.
cause I would agree with that too, but I don't know, there might be some pushback.
I mean, I agree if it's a matter of the health of the tree or if there are dead trees that are somehow problematic. There are other reasons, or if the tree is threatening to fall on a house
right.
somewhere, those are good reasons to thin or cut or remove branches. But just to improve a view of someone living there.
Yeah.
I don't like that, but realize I'm
Yeah.
biased that way.
Are the laws written that include this phrase, provide views? Are they already, no, they're
No,
not.
the Shoreland Protection Act is based on a percentage of trees that can be cleared and on size of trees that can be cleared. But remember, the Shoreland Protection Act doesn't allow any modification for the first 50 feet.
Right,
So you're just overlaying
yeah,
on the most stringent
right,
part of the Shoreland
Right.
Protection Act.
Mhm.
So,
I
mhm,
see.
and there are other caveats, and I think that's part of the problem that Tara has. She thinks that the state has gone too far in allowing things to happen, so.
Yeah,
Mm,
she
But
states that in here.
yeah, yeah.
I, you know,
Okay.
What
we do
needs
have a
of
view
enforcement are
easement
there?
on Corcoran's Pond. The town has a view from Valley Road, Town Square, that we're allowed to keep that
right,
completely open
right.
on the town land for the views.
Now, where did that go? Oh, it's where?
So before you move on to the next page, I'm looking at page 5C, a water dependent structure.
Which
Oh.
should be hyphenated, by the way. Sorry.
Okay. A water dependent structure such as dock, wharf,
Yeah.
pier, etc. Technically, could that be placed on the land we're talking about, the 13.5? I know it's a river, but it says this is permitted right now.
Well, it would have to be permitted by NHDES,
Mhm.
which, I don't know.
They would never allow it.
Yeah.
13.5.
Our 13 acres that
The
were
David Britton land.
the Britain land. Could you legally place a pier?
No,
No.
well, I don't know, I'd have to look at the
Mhm.
Shoreland Protection Act
Mhm.
limitations.
Yeah.
But I believe that, I mean, Lake Winnipesaukee has all kinds of
Right,
piers and
yeah,
docks and everything else, but you're never gonna. What you're gonna build along the Mad River is gonna be what's there off of Boulder Path Road properties, where they have a
Yes.
small wooden deck
right,
at the bottom of some stairs.
right. That's it.
Yeah, no one's gonna.
No one's putting a dock
In the
out
river.
into the river.
It's not for long.
Right.
Right. They
Till-
can until the first.
Till
thunderstorm.
Irene comes along, right?
So,
But what about people who have hauled in sand and made a beach
Oh.
along that area?
We
They took
talk
care of
about those with the state, and the state does what.
It's up to the state.
It's
then.
up to the state. It's
Yeah.
not a town enforced
Yeah,
law. But we do point it out to the state when it happens.
Okay.
Okay, before we leave this page, there
Mhm.
is one maybe significant thing here. We're discussing what is
Permitted.
permitted
Yeah.
in the shoreland protection overlay,
Mhm.
okay? And items D, E, and F, public utility lines, public water supply,
Mm.
sewage treatment, et cetera, match almost, but not quite, up to items K, L, and M in the floodplain protection overlay.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that in the floodplain protection overlay, if you look at the one that we're working on, public utility lines, et cetera, for the shoreland.
Mhm.
The one I'm comparing it to says public utility lines and associated structures, roads, driveways, and other transportation, including trams and other aerial transportation. That does not appear on this one we're talking about for the shoreland. And otherwise, it's identical. And so she must have thought to include that. Because there is, of course, a proposal to put
Mhm.
something crossing over Mad River. And that's not,
But the towers are not gonna be built within the floodplain as far as.
of course, that probably isn't necessary for the shoreland protection, because there we're dealing with essentially West Branch and, well, no, it wouldn't.
It goes
It would
over
go over
West
West
Branch,
Branch, yeah.
but those the towers as they've been conceptually put on a map do not fall within the floodplain, I don't believe. But I don't know that for certain.
Okay,
And remember, we've got those escarpments off of the Mad River. So we lived in Osceola 2. By the flood zone map, Osceola 2 is in the flood zone.
Good.
Or was in the flood zone, and then we did a letter of map adjustment, LOMA. And we pointed out the elevation that the condos are at.
Mm,
If
Yeah.
those are flooding,
You're
we
in
are
trouble.
building an ark anyway.
Yeah.
We,
Yeah.
we have a big problem, right? And that happens a lot along, like all those properties where the houses are. Again, you've got that
Yes.
big escarpment up
Mhm.
on Boulder Path Road.
Right.
A lot of those houses might have outbuildings or even parts of the houses
Mhm,
that technically fall within the 250-foot,
mhm.
but it's not
yeah.
ever gonna flood.
I would
Yeah,
just
that's-
propose for consistency, since the
Yeah,
wording
let's ask her
between
about the
these is almost
consistency.
identical.
Yeah,
And so why not make, and the only other thing is ours for shoreland says sewage treatment facilities. And in floodplain, it says wastewater treatment
yeah,
facilities.
it should be.
So I would match those up.
consistent.
Okay,
And it should be wastewater.
Yeah.
It's flood zone. Yeah.
okay.
And I think there should be some language in there. I think it's missing right now that these are allowed uses as long as they conform to the zoning in the air, because I think some of the things you might be, I would want her to balance these,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You've got the area along the West Branch, that's low density residential. Don't allow something that's prohibited in the LDR
Yeah,
with this overlay.
yeah, she
So
says
just-
that,
She got
provided
those-
they are allowed in the
Okay,
underlying
As
district.
long as,
It's already in
there.
as long as that language is in there,
Yeah.
that's,
That's what I saw.
okay.
Mhm.
Tricky business.
Woo, yeah,
No wonder.
wastewater.
Yes.
We have a question about
And you
the
were worried
land
about that, but I think that's all right.
down here,
Down below, yeah.
the homes along, call it below the police station,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking,
Yeah.
across the street. Are they in a flood zone?
They're in a flood.
Yeah.
they're in
Did someone,
floodplain.
did someone start building a house illegally?
No, Dave, looks at the flood map and compares it, they have to put what the flood map
Yeah.
says on their building plan when he does the building permit,
Mhm.
he makes sure. And if he has a question as far as what they're doing down there, that's the beach. They built
Mhm.
a beach on the first house that they built. We took it to the state
Oh,
and said, okay, here's the situation. We need a determination from you if they're in compliance with the Shoreline Protection Act. And we turned it over to the state
Mm.
for enforcement. So if he has a question about
mhm.
if it
Hmm.
meets that, he would talk to the DES and
So,
get their opinion as to whether or not they can do what they're doing.
So that particular area is also protected by the shoreline.
Shoreline
Whoa.
protection, it's on the Mad River, yep. And that kind of goes to what Tara was talking about with with the
There's a
state.
blight
Mhm.
hitting those
Just having
trees,
a pretty,
and there's a way to treat it. You
and remember, they
want
get
asbestos
hammered
to
all the
be
time
removed.
around Lake Winnipesaukee and
Oh,
everything
yeah.
else, because that's all Shoreland Protection Act.
So in theory, if,
As
if
well.
we, if a shoreland zoning amendment passes, that puts some of the enforcement into our
Yeah.
control? Okay,
Yeah,
we
so
don't
this
have
would go
to,
under our zoning ordinance, it would be part of our code enforcement.
gotcha, I
Mhm.
like that, okay.
Okay, for name?
You're good with that?
I was interested that, for shoreland protection, she has a nice definition of ground cover.
Oh, not
then-
grass.
And then for, steep slope overlay, she defines vegetative cover. And I was intrigued by the differences, but there are good reasons for it, so I'm okay with that distinction of vegetative cover versus ground cover.
Hmm. Are you thinking the word grasses is not clear because it's not
No, I'm
grass?
fine with the way it's. But it is interesting that there are separate definitions for vegetative cover
Mhm.
for, in one case and
Hmm.
ground cover. And vegetative cover, we want to include trees, and you don't include that with ground cover.
Okay. It's ground cover.
Yeah, because it's less than 3 feet.
But we'll get, that's okay. So. Floodplain,
Is that what you
Floodplain.
look, floodplain?
let's roll.
Mhm.
Oh, you said that was pretty neat then.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time on this Axis GIS, like, my God, it's up until past midnight working on that. And did anybody else look at follow that link?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
Tara implied that would let us, I couldn't actually see where it gives a clear delineation of the flood hazard areas.
Yeah, whatever the hydrology layer, whatever that she talked about, I couldn't find that
I mean,
either.
I could find the buildings. I
Just-
looked at about 7 or 8 different kinds of overlays.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And they were interesting, slope and so forth. I didn't see where, and she implied that would show me exactly where the line is
Hmm.
for delineating floodplain hazard areas or flood hazard
Yeah,
areas.
so it's either on the left-hand side. You didn't see anything in those overlays?
No, I couldn't.
I will.
I'm
find out
not worried
where
about it, but I couldn't
Yeah.
find it.
So there's 2 different places to look. On the left-hand side, it has of the little check boxes that you can include or not include overlays.
mhm,
Then on the right-hand side,
Mhm.
there are different types of maps
If you go
at
to,
the very
yeah.
top.
yep. If you
And
click
one
that.
of them is a tax map, the base map, the
Mhm. Property.
Google Earth view with buildings, without buildings, and I think the flood maps may be in those different types of maps, but I will check that. See. Do you have it called up there, Erin?
she does.
I have something.
Well, I think we'll-
Mhm. Tax map.
I was, just as a general comment, I was intrigued as I read through this floodplain ordinance. The purpose of the flood hazard area overlay district is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of residents. And that was significant to me because all of these zoning restrictions are to protect people
Property owner.
and perhaps property. And we're not dealing in this paper
Hmm,
with protecting anything to do with the environment or nature or
land.
wildlife. This is focused on
Hmm.
the whole floodplain overlay has to do with protecting people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, but that revises my thinking about what's in here.
Mm. Yeah.
It's because it's the FEMA flood management
Mhm.
program.
And probably
They
insurance,
already
and
are-
insurance issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Insurance,
Yeah.
yeah,
Issue.
Yeah.
lawyers.
That's it. Right. Okay.
So would we, as a commission, give a yes to the overlay on the floodplain? Is that what we're,
Mhm.
I think so.
Well, we need to go through it, but I think, let's see. Did we have
I
any-
didn't.
The steep slope overlay, is that what you're?
No, we're not there yet.
No.
Not there?
I think we
Yeah,
were,
I do have some questions.
yeah, this was,
Maybe. Jenny, Paul, do you have things on this? The floodplain,
No, I didn't have any questions on this one, but what are?
okay,
I'm good on this one.
on
You
the,
good?
on the
It's
third and last page. Where it's talking about, conditional use permits. Oh no, I have two things.
Okay,
I have
Oh,
a good
boy.
one, a good one here. And I wasn't sure quite where to put it, but I
Okay.
wanted to put something comparable, which I really liked on the steep slope section.
Okay.
Steep slope says, that, before, the planning board can issue a permit, it's required to turn over the proposal for review by the Conservation
Right,
Commission
yes,
for
yeah.
feedback.
Yeah.
And then they can,
Right.
ignore it or whatever, but they have to give
Feedback.
us the opportunity to
Yes,
feedback
we saw
for
that.
some kind of exceptions to
Mm.
steep slope.
Mhm.
And I thought it would be nice to have some kind of, maybe
Yes,
we don't want that much work, but maybe we would like to have the opportunity to give feedback
Okay.
on, conditional use permits
Mhm.
regarding floodplain.
Mhm.
I don't know what
yeah,
you
I
think
like that
about that.
idea
I
too.
like that.
Yes, we're all in favor.
But once we are included,
Mhm.
then we are obliged to give it serious review.
Mhm.
And if we maybe don't object to something that raises almighty Dickens, 6 months later,
Mm.
why didn't the Conservation Commission object to this flagrant
Mm.
violation of something or other?
I don't think we would.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think,
Okay,
I think we're the voice
I
of
think,
caution.
I was gonna
then.
say, yeah, we're level-headed here.
but it
But it's good.
obligates us
Yeah,
to give it a serious review if
Yeah.
we're busy with other things.
I like that, Charles. That's
Yeah.
a good catch.
And then-
you'll,
Yeah.
put that in, okay.
And then.
we're in favor of
um,
that review. Yes.
Okay, then I had a personal, a personal pet peeve, which maybe shouldn't be put in here. On the last page, talking about conditional use permits. Where does it put it here?
You don't want to be able to put additions to already existing.
If something
Yes.
is grandfathered in
Mm.
and is allowed to continue because it's grandfathered in, do we want to allow additions to existing
Oh.
grandfathered structures?
I,
Do we want to allow replacements of existing grandfathered structures?
I actually do remember I thought that was funny, the additions, and I also thought accessory structures was a little funny too. I thought adding any structure.
Yeah.
In the floodplain is,
No,
I mean,
seem
there already
ludicrous.
is at least one grandfathered structure which is flagrantly in the floodplain.
Mhm.
And do we want to allow expansions of any such structure
yeah,
as part of this document? Do we want to
Right.
allow, if it gets
if it
washed
gets
out,
to replace it.
do we want to allow replacement?
Well,
well,
you
don't,
can't say
I'm
no.
that's the
not
whole
saying
state of
we
Florida
don't.
right there.
Yeah, you
And
can't
if we
say no.
don't, then that's a huge
Well, we don't
impact
want
on
it.
property value
Right.
and so forth.
Correct.
But it's worth being aware of
Additions?
it.
I don't think so.
Do we want to allow them to expand?
I don't.
I would say no.
I don't know, what do you think?
No, we
We agree. We agree.
We don't like it.
We don't
I
like
mean,
it.
if, is it gonna be funded anyway? Like, would somebody fund that in addition or? I don't know.
What,
It's in the floodplain with the, you know, with the
why do we allow it in here is what I'm questioning.
expansion to a shed,
Yeah,
something like outbuilding, I don't know, like a.
Like an outhouse.
But we as a
Might have one of the
commission,
problems in Washington.
It's in the floodplain.
but we as a commission agree,
Yeah.
what you're saying, Charles, is we don't like it. So that's okay.
Yeah,
We'll put this in here and.
That's all right.
According
You
to
can
Tara,
just-
can
you
give
can-
us
you can
feedback.
bring up your point, I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
valid,
Yeah.
but is if, whether it's typical or not to allow that, maybe
Right.
that's a
Yeah.
better way to look at it. Is this customary or is
Yeah.
or
'cause
is it
she
out
has
of the
a lot
ordinary?
Yeah,
And that way, no one can yell at the commission.
right.
very.
This is our job to,
yeah, good.
Okay,
All right,
I'm good with,
you're good? All right.
okay.
steep slopes.
yeah, and this is intriguing because,
Well, intriguing.
because
Because Paul has
courtesy
been embedded.
courtesy
in
of
the front.
Paul,
Yeah.
he distributed, and I actually printed and saved on my computer,
Wow.
an earlier Article 11 steep slope overlay district. And I was intrigued to see that there are some differences. There's some changes that were made from that one you gave us a month or more ago.
There are some, yeah, there are.
Yeah, and I'm gonna raise a few things there.
Okay,
Okay, steep
I'm
slopes.
ready.
Continue.
Okay, purpose. Let's start. But purpose is significant. I mean, that defines the whole intent
Yes.
Yeah.
behind the restrictions, and those are often important. So the purpose in the document as proposed that just came out to us is it's very focused. It's restricted to preventing damage. What does it say here?
Reduce
Reduce
damage.
to the
Damage-
town's surface water
water
resources
sources.
and stormwater management and transportation infrastructure from inadequate on-site stormwater management.
Yeah, and so that's a very narrow, restricted sense of purpose, whereas the purpose that Paul and Tara and who was
That was a document at the time, it was
Okay.
Rick at the time.
Rick.
And Megan.
yeah. So your purpose, I love that. That's wow, it's much richer. I
Yeah.
don't know if we
Read
want to
that.
go that
Yeah,
far.
read it,
Purpose.
because we don't have access to that.
The purpose, you didn't print this off. The purpose of the steep slope overlay district is to reduce damage to streams from the consequences of excess and improper
That's all
construction,
really weird.
erosion, stormwater runoff, or effluent from improperly sited sewage disposal systems, and to preserve the natural topography, drainage patterns, vegetative cover, scenic views, wildlife habitats, and to protect unique natural areas.
Oh, 100%.
Isn't that a
Yeah,
nicer
yeah,
sense of
that-
yeah.
Well,
purpose?
the second part is good, yeah, so basically the first part says the same thing as what.
Yes,
this
it
says.
is.
Yeah,
This
But
says it
but that
better,
got cut.
actually, this one,
Yes,
but the
that
second
got
part-
That's so comprehensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Second part is good.
Yep.
Yep.
So we'll tell Tara that
I
we,
gave her this
we,
one.
You like
You
prefer
had the
that one.
correct.
Well,
written
the
out, so
language
she
I think
can-
is better in the
Mhm.
one we
Okay.
have for the, at least
Then
for
I
the
can't say
first part.
anything else.
Mhm.
But the second part would be nice to be added.
So,
I think the language here is better, but
Okay.
then we add that second part.
yeah. I agree, Paul.
all right.
So basically, it's a preservation of the natural drainage pattern, which seems reasonable. We could ask her why she took it out or why it was rewritten. Was there anything from the planning board on that? John, that may have
I
influenced that decision to take that out?
don't think the planning board really got
Hmm.
too far. We were looking for input with you guys, with us, so I can.
You know, so it got changed for some reason. We don't know why.
That last,
You
second
can-
to last
you
word.
can-
Oh,
Unique natural
unique
areas,
natural areas.
protect unique
Okay.
natural areas.
Thank you. Okay, all right. Oh, John, you're gonna have a lot to talk about.
Oh.
Sorry,
I may have
that's
to,
okay.
I may have to invite you in.
A guest speaker, huh?
You want to bring these things up,
That's good.
That's
editorial
editorial, so
formatting.
All right.
problem.
I guess we have to send those directly to,
Yeah.
You mean the one, the definitions, and there's.
Yeah.
After that,
yeah,
like the ER of erosion.
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And here, under definitions, you see where they define vegetative cover,
Mhm.
and I like the way they did it. Grasses, shrubs, trees, and other vegetation which hold and stabilize soils. So it's much broader than ground cover.
Mhm.
Very good.
Ah, now I have a question that fellow commissioners can help me out on. There are nice places, nice definitions given in a couple of these. Could someone define what is development?
Hmm.
Because it's critical. Almost all of these zoning have to do with restrictions to development.
Development,
I don't,
There
what,
must be improvements upon the land of any sort.
I think it was it not, the development was not, isn't it not, is it not the, anything that requires the permitting triggers the permitting process?
Oh, maybe.
Was that what it was? I think we had this discussion at some, maybe it was at planning.
well, development is what triggers the planning process, but
Right.
where do we define what
Develop-
development
What
is?
triggers that process, yeah.
Oh, I think it's implied. I don't know, I thought maybe it was implied. Mark might be the
It-
best person.
Implied to me is that it includes buildings
Mhm.
of any kind, sheds, tea houses,
Something
and
not
so forth.
natural,
Anything built.
man-made.
It includes, I assume, driveways,
Mhm.
garages,
There's probably a definition. in
massive
the
landscaping.
Zoning documents.
Does development include radically altering vegetative cover?
Mm.
Such
we're
as to
still
improve
trying
view.
to.
Such
don't
as,
think it
no,
does.
honestly,
Still
what,
I don't think
trying
it
to
does.
what's
nail
this
North
development
Face. We
include?
can't
I
let
don't think
that
it
go.
includes that.
It doesn't, so it
No.
includes anything that,
That triggers some type of review or process or permitting process.
well, I'd like to have clear cutting. included there.
Yeah.
Why is that not something that
Yeah.
needs to be reviewed?
I would love to add, there's no clear cutting in Waterville Valley, to
Yeah.
just straight up, no
Well,
clear cutting.
We have,
Well,
You can do
look
special
around.
use. No, I know, I'd love to add
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
there's no,
Yeah.
that they're not stopping anybody.
because it's not
Let's see.
restricted.
That is,
Yeah, that's an issue.
No, it's an issue because as I've commented before, actually over the last, this GIS axis, I looked at 2003
Mm-hmm.
and the hillside, the whole hillside below the buildings of Northways face, which were standing,
Mm-hmm.
was fully forested. And now most of that's gone because it's been clear cut. And we can't do anything about that now, but there are other
Mm.
properties,
That might,
people who have
Mm.
homes tucked into the forest and who own land going down slope quite a ways, who are in no way prevented from cutting those trees down, stripping the forest away because they want a better view.
how would Snows Mountain Road look? There are
Mm.
big places and
Yeah,
pieces of property
right.
there and they
Yeah.
leave their trees alone.
Well, on the West
What if-
Branch, these properties
Mm.
on the West Branch, are they allowed to just cut as much as they want to improve their view?
Well,
This has always been our issue in this board. I do know that if your land abuts Forest Service land, that you can't go in and clear cut Forest Service land, but you can select some trees with the help of the Forest Service.
Sure.
Mm.
But if you're privately owned, this has always been our
Yeah.
issue. Why are they allowed to
well,
clear
it's
cut?
cut willingly.
And why would you?
Charles, do you wanna think about making a proposal that we do an ordinance like that?
Yeah.
Maybe not today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's think about clear cutting.
And there's so
Rural.
much in
I would be
danger if
so
you
in
think
favor.
about
We-
it.
I
Our
know.
whole community is trees.
But I think
and-
that topic, the topic did come up, right? It was with someone, Mark or somebody, that we were talking about this.
Yeah.
And there's basically, there wasn't much that could be done. I
Could
think. It
do.
was
Well,
like,
what,
even though you argued correctly that
Yes, and one
by
of those
removing the trees,
meetings-
that it was that erosion,
yeah.
Yeah.
reducing or in
Well,
erosion
that's
reducing.
why the ordinance needs to
It
be
didn't,
proposed.
there wasn't a lot that could be
Tara
done.
made it quite clear that she has never known a case where cutting trees to improve view has ever been successfully opposed in the courts across the state of New Hampshire. And she had an example of a really flagrant case that should have been blocked,
Mhm.
but the court approved it. And her message, which I accept, is that that kind of restriction, if it's for view, will never be sustained
Mm.
in the state of New
Right.
Hampshire. And so we shouldn't even
No.
bark up that tree, so to speak.
Well, I mean, we could try and it would just be take some person who's willing to take it to court to stop it. I mean,
I don't know.
I think it's something we ought to consider.
Remember, there was a discussion about how much of the tree you left behind, like
Mhm.
Oh,
The
yeah,
stump.
topping,
Yeah.
topping the trees, yeah.
Yeah.
how much was left of that, you know,
Yeah.
was that a factor, but.
Sounded like if it was the property owners, it was their right to do whatever.
Their
they want,
prerogative, yeah.
Yeah,
regardless of the downstream effects.
Yeah.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
if you leave the stump, then you're still
Stabilize,
stopping
yeah.
erosion.
Possibly,
take
until it
everything out-
dies.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a severe extreme case of that in Michigan where a property owner blew up a beaver dam.
Oh,
And this wall of water just came down the mountain
I've-
into a public park,
Washed it out.
washed the whole park out, and there was was that an artesian?
Oh, yeah,
well?
it
We used
was.
to get water there,
Not anymore.
messed up, fouled that,
Wow,
just,
they didn't really think.
no,
cowboys. Cowboys in Michigan.
Blair County, yeah.
Wow.
It's my property, I can do what I want, same thing.
Mhm.
Oof.
We'll
All
never
right.
change
Are
that.
we good?
So did you get through all those, Charles?
Wow, we have to,
I didn't,
Any,
It's not that bad.
I
It's
didn't,
all,
I think in general, it's pretty clean
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that.
I didn't. have
yeah,
any-
just some, you know,
no, I mean, another meeting's coming in
Oh.
at 3.
oh, yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just looking at the clock.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're in good shape.
Yep.
But if while you have that open, if you study the steep slope on page 2, there's a whole, in caps, letter G, Conservation Commission review.
Yes, we
Yeah.
like that. That's where she
And
says,
that's what we want to add to the
Yeah.
floodplain.
yeah.
yeah.
Gee,
Floodplain.
The floodplain, I thought
Yeah.
about, and it doesn't belong to shoreland because that's not, there aren't exceptions that are being permitted there. That's just,
Yeah, no conditional use.
Yeah.
permit.
So again, you asked the steep slope overlay,
Yeah,
and I do have to ask, would the overlay be reflecting the shoreline or the shoreland?
well,
The 50 feet or the 200 feet?
the 250, I haven't seen that anywhere. That's
Hmm.
something to do with the state.
State.
yeah, that's the
Mhm.
state.
I think that's like along
Yeah.
oceans,
Yeah.
ocean land or something.
Um,
But anyways, yes to overlay.
Yeah.
On all 3. For shoreline. And we're clear on proposing 25 feet?
oh, no, let's,
No, let's
Proposing
go
50.
50.
50,
And then
but-
at the public hearing, if we get a lot of pushback, we
We'll
can
vote for
say,
that.
25.
okay, how about
25?
25?
Yeah.
That's what I want to go too. I'd rather go that direction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought I heard Mark say something different, but. I guess
That
I
He
was
was-
said,
his-
ask for 20, it's his opinion. Ask for 25
No, he said
then-
ask for 50, and if you get pushback,
No,
have
No.
that in your pocket.
no, he didn't.
No, he said ask for
He said
25.
Ask for 25,
And
and
then-
then you can do an
Amendment to get
amendment
50.
Later.
later
No, he
on.
said ask for 50, and if you get pushback at the public hearing, you can go to 25, and then
And
you can
then
do an
later-
amendment later on.
Sorry, it's in the recording.
Okay.
I did hear that.
25 and then-
I did hear that because I was surprised.
Okay,
Yeah. I
'Cause
was
especially with
surprised.
this town, we've had experience with asking for wetlands buffering and
Okay.
this town went crazy
Oh,
when we asked for 50.
we never discussed whether. we're
No,
gonna
this is
include-
before your time.
We didn't get to Corcoran Pond.
well, he said that Tara and town council are going back and forth about all
Yeah.
the easements that are in place.
Yeah.
and what
A
that
lot of
means.
conflicts there.
You want me to get Mark, have him come down and
You
clear?
you can.
'Cause
You
it
can
sounds
see
like-
if you look on the map. you
There's
know,
no
50
land
feet
to do-
versus
yeah.
25, you can kind of see who would be affected.
Yeah.
Just by visualizing it.
Mm.
I'm estimating it visually. So you can see that there will be pushback.
The red,
Control center here.
the
red-
hotline.
The red phone.
And you can ask them what development is.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that's.
Steve
good.
Roya, John Rossini. Hey, I'm downstairs and I was wondering, could you ask Mark to come down and clarify one thing for us?
So before your
Thank you.
time, before your time. And I was in the Conservation Commission. We had a member, I won't mention names, but he was one of the Waterville Company people. And we were fighting with Harry. With Harry, you remember Harry?
I do.
He was so encouraged to fight for this 50-foot setback. And people are saying, there's not enough land in the valley to do this. He gets up and he says to me, why do we need any setbacks at all? We haven't had any issues in 100 years. When I told John and he said, oh, that's like, why wear a seatbelt? Wait till you have an accident. Then put a
Mhm.
seatbelt on.
Mhm.
Exactly. Why do you need any setbacks? We haven't had an issue.
Then it's too late. Yeah,
I was dumbfounded.
yeah. Oof.
Yes. I
Well, while
remember,
we wait for Mark, I was
Yes.
going to just say, I was gonna fill out one of these forms, but it sounds like maybe this is a waste of time, because it would just go to the state. Because
Hmm.
I was walking the Greeley connector this morning early, and 2 homes.
oh, don't forget.
Yeah, no, I won't.
Yeah, hold your thought.
Can you clear something up for us?
I don't know.
You can.
So
'Cause we're
half of us
arguing about
heard
what you
one
said.
thing, and half of us heard another, what you said about the setback, about asking for 50 feet or 25 feet.
No, the suggestion is if you get pushback on 50 feet, then consider starting at 25, taking a year, evaluating it,
Oh,
talk to the landowners, you know,
Mm.
get it in place that you have the setback, and then the next year you go back for an amendment that just takes it from 25 to 50, maybe, or if you like what's happening with the 25, you leave it, but you just give yourself some flexibility. But she started at 100, you're at 50 right now.
Take
Put the
that to the
50
public hearing.
forward, take
Okay.
that to the planning board.
Wow.
If you get pushback, just
know.
Yeah,
consider it
Okay,
about going to the
we
25.
got it.
yeah.
I
Thank you.
think the
Really?
bigger the setback is, the more pushback you're gonna get.
Yeah.
And the more
100%.
likely, and remember, you gotta get 2/3 vote
Mhm.
to do these changes.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
And we want to get something passed.
Yeah,
Mm.
so anyway,
Okay.
that's just an approach that you can take and do
Really?
a year or two evaluation and see what it is and then change it maybe.
And the other
Okay.
question, which I foolishly raised, there are lots of nice definitions in here of things. Is there a definition, standard definition of what constitutes development?
That would be a Tara question. Yeah, we do not have a definition in our zoning ordinance that specifies development. We specify a whole bunch of different kinds of development,
Development.
but we're
No,
more specific on our definitions than just that broad development.
Thank you.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Thank you.
All right.
So
I honestly heard him say.
Yeah, I'm sure
And
you
then, and then as time went on, asked for 50.
Yeah.
All right.
So number 4 and number 22 River Road
Oh, yes,
have,
yes.
they have 2 big lawns that go all the way to, all the way
River
down to the
Road.
path.
Yes.
And they leaf blew all of their leaves
Oh,
into the
Jesus.
river,
Oh,
into the
no,
river, all the
no.
way across the path into the river.
You know something, I saw, when we walked down there, I saw the river was full of leaves.
Yeah, and there are lots of
I
leaves
saw that.
on the shore naturally all along from everywhere,
Yeah.
but this is like,
Oh.
they blew them all into the river. So I actually went online. I was like, is this legal? Like this, and it's not, it's, you're
No.
not allowed, it's illegal. So, but it's I think it's a state thing. Anyway, I think I am gonna do this and send it to Dave Noyes.
Yeah.
And he can
Yeah.
let me know if it's
Yeah.
a state
Yeah.
thing or if it's
Yeah.
something that he would handle.
Yeah.
And I also
Appreciate it, yeah.
just really think that maybe I ought to just drop a note inside their door, just me personally, just telling them that they should talk to their landscaper. I mean, they weren't out there leaf blowing, obviously.
Yeah,
but-
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, because the landscape.
No, we
Well,
were-
now,
wanted
if
to-
we had no lawns, there wouldn't be a problem, would
Right,
there?
I know.
This should be all natural vegetation from the backs of those houses to the river.
And most of them are, there are just these 2 that are,
Yeah,
that are bad.
yeah.
now for 50 feet, they can't fertilize, but above 50
Right.
feet, they can.
And there's, there was a new law just passed at the state level, but they're waiting for them to put guidelines into place to distribute to municipalities and public about fertilizer.
Mhm.
Did you say, I
Yeah.
don't know if anyone else saw
Yes,
that.
yes, yes,
Sorry.
yeah.
Well, if you live on a lake in Michigan anyway, a lot of them have lake associations and they prohibit
Mhm. Yeah.
fertilizers.
So this is the state and it's trying to combat the whole cyanide,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that whole problem.
Yeah.
It's really
Yep.
putting a dent into some areas,
Yep.
tourism, I think, so.
Yeah.
So I think when they come out with the guidance, educational guidance,
Oh,
we
yeah.
should
Yeah.
do a
Get on that.
educational
Yeah.
campaign.
And you should
That's what-
submit that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
am.
I
going to,
think you
yeah,
should.
just
And
a-
she encourages that too. She encourages this information to go to homeowners, landowners, so that we're not enforcing laws that should have been complied with.
Yeah, people didn't know about it.
Right.
And we should make a big deal about this on our website, right?
Mm.
About
Mhm.
not fertilizing.
Well, that's, yeah, it's one of the items for Steve Royer.
That's all I have.
Yeah. Okay,
That's it.
all right.
Privilege of the floor.
And the final, if there are no other questions?
We have another half an hour, can't we?
We can solve other issues, right? Date of next meeting. We are looking at the time around Thanksgiving. So either November 20 or you said December 11, you're gone.
We're gone.
Yeah.
And I may be
Yeah.
gone on the 20th, but you.
Oh,
I'll
we'll
be here.
see.
What if
One
you
time.
went? Well, we can't really go after Thanksgiving, really, 'cause
Well,
well,
December 11th would be.
so there, yeah, December 11 is in between, but if that's not good,
What about December
what about 18th, right?
4th?
Or
December 4th?
4th?
yeah.
Is there a reason why you
Oh,
couldn't do that,
that's
maybe?
what I'm looking at. I don't know, you don't have a calendar here, right?
I don't-
We've got another phone.
When we go home and
We're
look,
okay. on the
Are we okay on the 4th? I
I
thought
am.
so, yeah, we're okay on the 4th.
All right,
I have it,
you have my phone?
I have your phone. I was thinking for you today.
Oh,
Ah,
right, wow.
One of us has an appointment on the 4th.
Ah. Okay. Did everyone see our chalk art on Indigenous?
to-
people?
Yeah, they
Yes,
did a nice
Oh.
job. Yeah,
Next year will be bigger.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, November, December, right? Uh-huh.
You know,
I don't have December here.
yeah,
All
you know, why
right,
don't we
we'll just do
plug it
something
in and-
There,
tentative.
this might be helpful.
Do something tentative and then
Land development.
email each other.
Yeah,
How
What's
does
the definition?
will that be your last appearance, Jen?
December?
Well,
So we're.
I'll
gonna
be here
go-
as an alternate.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
for a few more months.
Mhm.
Okay, all right.
That's
Yeah.
great. So, guys, how is December for?
Looks good.
It's okay for
Good.
us.
It's okay? All right,
Okay.
let's try for that. Then,
If it's me, you should still have a meeting.
yes, okay. 1 PM. All right, thank you. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
It's adjourned.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
you.
for-
Yeah.
Thank you, Charles and Paul, for all your.
Oh,
Oh, we have to stop the recording.
oh, yeah. Do you know how?
I'll call it.
We need you.
Shut in there.
I should have asked.
She's gonna be sorry. She told us about that.
Just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Richard, can you come down and stop the recording before we conservation? Or send someone out?
It's not Zoom.
Okay.
I don't want to interfere with somebody else's computer.
I know.
Child was happening with some people like that.
Yeah.
In my mind, I was practicing Tai Chi.
Oh.
Falling out of
So is
class.
the
Oh, you
Uh,
were.
yes.
WWTF,
Yeah.
is that first order of business for this
Oh,
one
right.
today?
I think that is the meeting. Hi.
Oh, the whole meeting. Oh, it's a special meeting.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Alicia.
Yeah.